You've been sold on the idea that you need thousands of leads to make money online. However, that's just not the case. As when I stopped prioritizing getting more traffic, I started making tens of thousands of dollars. And I promise you, it wasn't through spamming cold DMs, calls, or emails for 12 hours a day, or even some sales system that I'm gonna charge you for. Rather, it came down to a few things that I didn't even realize until I learned these two things that I'm about to share with you. Number one, traffic isn't the problem. And just to really prove this, in May of 2024, I had over 2,000 leads and a $5,000 product, but I only made $500 in that month. And I was figuring out, okay, well, maybe it's this problem. Maybe I need to up my prices for some reason. Maybe I need to spend more time on something else. I tried that. The next month I made like $1,800, but there was a problem. What the issue was is just as simple as I didn't do the work. Now, that's not the problem. That was a symptom of the problem, and this is what you need to understand. That it's not just the traffic, it's not just the work. There's some core problem that you haven't uncovered yet. Because truthfully, you might think you need appointment setters or video editors or some automated system to get you more traffic. But at the end of the day, that's just not the case, because I guarantee you, you can find somebody out there doing the exact same thing you are to get leads coming into your business, yet they're making 10 times more money than you are. And yeah, maybe it's just, oh, they have more time to work. I would say not, because there's probably somebody who works less time than you is doing the same thing. So we need to dig deeper, because initially, you might say to yourself, traffic is the issue. Okay, well maybe it's not that. Maybe it's actually just that, I don't have enough video editors or appointment setters doing stuff for me. Well, that's not the case. And the appointment setters is also not the case. So what might it come down to? When we dig deeper, let's look at what do we need to do to accomplish the goal we have. And at the end of the day, that is as simple as consistency to a high frequency. So not only do you need to be able to be consistent, you need to be able to do this to a higher frequency longer than everyone else. Now, that's still not the issue. It's not this either, because you want to know what the real problem is. Well, you're not going to like this, but it's different for everyone. There's a different reason for everyone why you are able to be consistently frequent for a very long period of time doing this, whatever traffic mechanism you have. So one big issue I had, for example, is emotional management. I immediately acted on my impulse as soon as I felt it, because I felt like I was just gonna explode if I didn't go and indulge into some instantly gratifying thing. But as soon as I became aware of these emotions, I was able to increase my frequency, and I was actually able to gain more momentum. So you need to be able to identify the problem in your life, like what is the true problem? And again, it might be different. Now, how you define the problem is as simple as one word. What this word is why. And then as soon as you ask yourself, well, why don't I have enough traffic? Oh, probably because I don't have appointment setters. Well, even if I did, is that really the case? Because maybe you tried it out, because I did. I've hired and fired about 40 different appointment setters, yet I still didn't make more money then than I actually made recently, which I'm gonna get to how I did that soon. With that being said, maybe that's not the case. Okay, well, why am I not getting enough traffic? Well, maybe it's because my videos aren't getting enough views. Well, why am my videos not getting enough views? Probably because I'm not implementing the right things. Why am I not implementing the right things? Is it because I haven't watched enough content on how to make a good YouTube video? Maybe. Or maybe it's just that you didn't implement it. Well, why is that? And then you just keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And think about it like this. When you're driving a car, you're not gonna blame the frame for it when it stops working. You're not gonna be like, oh, this door, it just messed up and that's why my car doesn't work at all, if there's a little scratch in the door. No, you're gonna get it probably checked out by some technician or mechanic or whatever, and they're gonna tell you, yeah, it's your engine's the problem, the battery's the problem. It actually happened with my car recently. You need new tires. You need to get a new thermometer, or you need to get a new whatever that might be. But point being is you're not going to blame that little scratch on the door. You're going to figure out the core issue. Now, there's one thing you need to do once you figure out the core issue, which I didn't do when I had those thousands of leads, and I actually didn't do when my car broke down too, and it created much worse problems that you can easily avoid by this one thing, which is speed. Because as soon as I started acting with more speed, especially going into August of 2024, I went from barely making $1,000 a month to in October, I made over $8,000. like actually into my bank account. I'm not talking about like lifetime value because I was making some more at the time, but I'm talking about money that was rolling through my bank account. It was up to that amount. Simply because I acted with more speed. Once I identified the true problem, I was able to create an effective solution. And then that's how you can do it. You don't just identify the problem with speed, you also figure out a solution with speed. Because in fact, my product was actually less. And I only had 53 leads at the time, so I knew traffic wasn't the issue because I had like 20 times less leads than I had before. It simply came down to my speed of problem solving. Now, how do you actually do that? Well, once you identify the problem, you act with speed to solve it. Immediately think of something that you know would have worked before, you've seen or you've heard of, try to implement it. If that doesn't work, write it down and being like, okay, well, why? And it comes back to that same word. Why didn't this work? And if one solution doesn't work, you just identify why that next solution didn't work and then immediately create another. Now, how you're going to create another is super simple. When you go to create a solution, you just have to identify two things: what and how. So you have to identify what are you going to do and how you are going to get it done. So the what is the action. The how is the way you do the action. And why this is so important is because one way I might go about changing up the way I create content or the way I sell on a sales call might be different than you because of the difference in skills we have. And also the difference in the person we are trying to become is. Because at the end of the day, we both have different visions for our business and life. And we have different characters that we need to become and different behaviors we need to elicit to be able to be those types of people. And then once we can figure out in what areas do we fall short, what you need to then do is prioritize acting in those areas with the new solution you created. And then the what just simply comes down to identifying somebody else who's done or gotten the result that you wanted before, and then breaking it down to what did they do to get that result. And then you apply the how based off of your own personal character development and vision that you have, and then recreate the same thing until you find something that sticks. Because think about it, like if your car doesn't work after you put gas in it, you aren't going to immediately try to put more gas in it. Because that'd just be kind of dumb, right? Like imagine I was walking over to you, right? And we started getting into a conversation. And what happened was, I say one thing, I'd be like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then you say, oh, I disagree with it. I'm not just gonna say the thing again if I wanted to convince you of it. I would say something else to get you to agree. And if you still didn't agree, then the question is this worth my time? Is there a way I can look at it again? Is there maybe something else I could say? And that's exactly how you have to look at problems in your business. Now, if you want more help with implementing these things and just general access to me, you can just click the top link in the description, get more free resources, which I'll post in my story on Instagram, and you'll get help being able to solve the problem of a lack of consistency in your business just by clicking that top link description. Follow me on Instagram and feel free to DM me.